मैं तुम्हारे लिए bottles लेके आई हूँ.
It's you. I'm sorry, I didn't mean it like that. I thought you were Brad. I asked him to get some garlic bread. I completely forgot about it. You can't serve pasta without garlic bread.
It's okay. It's okay. My Brad told me to let you know that he's running late.
Oh shit! All right, well, come on in. You can give me a hand. Here you go.
Thank you. That's what doctor ordered.
Exactly. Cheers. You know, as much as I enjoy these gatherings, I think this one's got to be my last.
I found Cooper in his day. And the garlic bread as promised is the bar open. The ER was a class of fuck today.
Help yourself. Sally's in the kitchen. Hi.
Hi. Demi, this is my dear friend, Dr.
Hi.
Robert Myers.
Oh, hi.
Nice to meet you.
Pleasure meeting you. No doctor shit here. Come on in, come in, and bring this little fart with you.
Thanks.
Where did you guys meet?
Middle school.
Bradley, don't be so rude.
Yeah, that's true. That's exactly where they met, middle school.
I work at Glenford Middle School with Cooper's daughter.
My wife used to be a teacher. She's been gone a while, but can't take the ring off just yet.
And how long you guys been dating? Since Cooper has retired, I never get to see him anymore.
Alright, leave the girl alone. We've known each other for 4 months, dating for 2. Now, can we change the subject? How do you guys all feel about the government dragging Maid on for another 4 months?
Bullshit, if you ask me.
MAID? What's MAID?
MAID stands for Medical Assistance in Dying.
Supreme Court ruled the law that makes a physician-assisted dying against the law. It is unconstitutional.
Whatever they end up calling it, not everyone here agree with assisted dying, no matter who's involved.
Well, not everyone here believes in God, Sally. Seems he's always imposing on our human rights. Maybe God should get out of our bedrooms and schools and stop trying to run our governments.
I'm just worried about the vulnerable people.
Oh, the vulnerability card. Are you honestly going to play that one?
Vulnerable people could be at risk if we open the gates for assisted dying.
Well, guys, vulnerability in itself is such a complex and subtle, concept. The term vulnerable population has also been used to describe certain identifiable subjects in the society.
Can't hear about Tent City without that word being used. Vulnerable.
Vulnerability is not simply a characteristic of an individual or group, but rather a state that any one of us here could be in under certain circumstances.
I agree with Brad. A person can be made vulnerable in a situation or context where social well-being or wealth are compromised in any significant way.
Help me out here.
Sure. What Cooper is getting at in the context of physician-assisted dying is that all persons are potentially vulnerable. And being vulnerable should not disqualify a person who is suffering intolerably from seeking an assisted death.
It does make a person susceptible to being induced to request a death that she or he does not desire.
It's very complex. Robert, what are your views on this issue?
I like Cooper had a very personal experience early in my career, and that helped form my opinions on this issue.
Can you share them with us?
Oh, or my colleagues.
Tell us your story, Robert. We'd like to know your views on this matter.
Well, it was 1979.
The year that Sony came out with a device called the Walkman.
1979? I wasn't even born yet.
Forget about that. We know how that goes. Robert, please continue with your story.
Well, I was in my first year of residency as a doctor. First doctor in my family, both sides. Thank you. My aunt told me that she'd been diagnosed with ALS. She told me I couldn't tell anybody about it, Frances was her name. Frances. She's barely in her 40s.
ALS is a horrible way to die.
Happens to a person with ALS.
It's not known what triggers it, let alone how to treat it, how to cure it. It's a progressive paralyzation of the muscles. You know that famous physicist Stephen Hawking. He's in a wheelchair. He's got a computerized voice. Right? He can only move one finger. At the end, you can't even swallow.
ALS, what a horrible, horrible way to die.
And that's why she asked me to help her end her own life.
God, what did you do?
Well, the first time she came to me, I think that she sort of hoped that I had an answer. Maybe some unpublished treatment or cure. I mean, I was the family doctor. Maybe I could save her. But I couldn't. And she knew that. At some level. So she had a plan. And all I had to do was get some drugs, take them to her, and be there when it happened. She just didn't want to die alone.
How does a person eventually die?
Well, they're gonna likely choke to death.
Did she know that you could have been arrested?
Well, it's not like she woke up one morning and said, I'm gonna kill myself. Right? She put a lot of thought into it. She believed it was her life, and it was her right to end it when she wanted to. As much as she put on a strong face, she was terrified. Terrified. And so it was up to me to make sure that she was not going to go through that alone. We spent hours and hours planning on how things were going to play out. We thought we had every detail covered. She wanted her last night to be a happy one. Drinking wine, having something to eat, and talking about how wonderful her life was.
It's nice. Tonight, I can have as much wine as I want. Cheers to a wonderful last night. And no hangover. Stop.
What?
Stop that right now.
What?
We've talked about this. Tonight's not going to be about dying. It's going to be about living. Let's dance.
Dance?
You've heard of it, haven't you? This song is from when my parents were your age. It was a different time. Simple. Dance with me. Oh my goodness, it's like you've got 4 left feet. There was a time when man would come to your front door when they're picking you up on a date. Your man would ask your dad for your hand in marriage. We used to have martinis at lunch back then, regularly. And everybody wore the most amazing suits and hats. I used to think it was so stuffy. Now I kind of miss it. Look what I brought.
What's that?
My high school yearbook. Thought it would be good for a few laughs. Maybe pass me my wine. I'm gonna need it. Thank you.
You went to high school in what, the early 1900s? Did they even have cameras?
Funny.
Enough. Show me your yearbook photo.
Oh my god. What the fuck was I thinking? Go ahead. Don't hold back on my account. My mother should have been arrested for child abuse letting me leave the house looking like that.
It's not that bad.
Not that bad. When I walked in the room, the photographer took one look at me and said, "Holy shit."
The way you describe it, your aunt doesn't sound that sick.
She wasn't. It could have been years before all that crap. But she wasn't going to wait around for that. I mean, she wanted to be remembered for who she was, not the sick person she's going to become.
This is one of the reasons I don't agree with the sister dying. It could have been years before the real signs of disease would have been shown.
It was 1979, and there is still no cure for ALS. She would have died an agonizing and horrible death from it.
I wrote goodbye letters to everyone that I think I should say goodbye to. I even wrote one for you. You don't get it now. Somebody might put two and two together and wonder, why didn't I leave one for you? Robert, no. Nobody can ever know you were here, right?
Of course. I just wish we didn't have to do it like this.
Me too. What do we do with this? How does it work?
You take half the bottle now, and the other half 20 minutes later. Wash it all down with some wine.
Okay. Thank you for helping me. To a great life.
A great life.
I like this one. I thought it'd be nice to listen to at a moment like this. I'm not sure what it's called. I call it the Fisherman's Wife song.
Why do you call it that?
Reminds me of a story that I wrote called The Fisherman's Wife. Did I ever tell you about that story?
No, you didn't. Why did you stop writing?
I never stopped exactly. Just took a break from it for a while. Listen, if there's one thing you learn from this, it's that life can be over in a minute. You gotta grab it by the balls and run.
To get that image out of my head. The Fisherman's Wife story?
It takes place in the late 1800s. The fisherman would go to sea for months on end. His wife would always know about the time he would be returning, give or take a few weeks. She did this by the seasons, and winter was on its way. At the end of each day, she would go to the widow's peak and sit, looking out to sea, waiting in hopes her husband's ship would appear on the horizon. Day after day, she would sit there, looking for her husband, each day thinking that would be the day his ship would appear. Then days turned to weeks, until she realized that her worst nightmare was coming true. When she woke that morning, she found the first snowfall of the season had arrived. She knew with that snowfall came the fact that her husband was not returning home. She sat there wondering how something so beautiful could bring such devastating news. She could feel the snowflakes brush against her face as she stood up on the railing, stepped off the railing and fell to her death. As she fell, she was able to see each snowflake as it fell to earth along with her.
Not sure I could have done that.
Until you're in that situation, you wouldn't know.
I'd be afraid something would go wrong.
It did. Horribly, horribly wrong.
What happened?
Well, she started throwing up. She took all the pills I had, and now she's throwing them up. And I don't know if she's got enough in her system to complete. And this is not how it was supposed to happen. I started to panic.
Wow, what did you do?
Why can't you just go into a hospital and get more pills? All that damn planning, and we didn't even think about this possibility. The time's ticking by. I made a phone call.
To who?
To a very close friend at the hospital, and without telling her any detail as to who or why begged for help.
I don't want to hear any of the details. You could go to jail for this.
I'm sorry. I had no one else to call.
This should do it. 10 times stronger than Valium. You're gonna need this too.
Well, why would I need a plastic bag?
The drugs won't be enough.
No, there's no way.
Whoever's in that motel room you care about dearly, don't make them suffer anymore.
I can't.
You don't have a choice.
I don't get it. What's the plastic bag for?
When I returned to the motel, I found my bands on the bathroom floor.
I've been thinking about the fisherman's wife story. I think you got it wrong. Yes, she thinks about taking her own life, not wanting to live without her love. Just before she's about to do it, she looks out to sea one more time. There on the horizon, she sees her husband's ship. He's come back. She's not alone. Never be alone, never again.
I'm sorry. What an awful thing you had to experience.
Well, that's why nobody should have to go through that, you see. That's why things have got to change.
I understand, I honor the fact that you don't want to take that option for your own reasons. I understand, I honor that. What I would like is if you would honor me so that if I decided to take that option, we've been friends for a long, long time, and imagine if I had some horrible illness and I asked you to help me die. Would you?
You sure know how to ruin the good dinner party. I would be pissed off. As a lifelong friend, you know my beliefs.
All right, so let's role play. There, it is me, and I'm there in bed with whatever, and I'm in pain, and morphine doesn't work anymore, and there's tears in your eyes watching me suffer like that. And I ask you to help me. What would you do? Okay.
Please tell me one thing. What was written in the letter your aunt wrote?
I don't know. Never opened it.
It's getting late.
My dearest Robert, I can never thank you enough for helping me. I'm not afraid of dying, just of dying alone. I fear the absence of love next to me as I exit, more than anything. I don't think that makes me a coward, just human. Forgive me for placing you in this position, but I knew you wouldn't be able to say no to me. I am your favorite auntie after all. You, my darling, are going to be a fantastic doctor. Wouldn't it be lovely if one day this could all be done differently? So differently. But today's not that day. And for now, I am just grateful to have you with me. My wish for you is to seek love and joy at every opportunity. Don't wait for it to show up at your door. Be the architect of your own happiness. And never forget how much I adore you. All my love, Auntie Frances.